I am a therapist. I'm not very sure whether you've ever met one. But anyway, even if you've never met one, I am here to talk to you today. And the reason why we don't meet therapists is because they work in private rooms. But here we have come out, and we have come out because we want to reach out to the society. We don't just want to do our work in the social rooms. In the counseling rooms. We also want to come to the social life of people and encounter them from wherever they are and journey with them. So psychologists basically do the work of mental work, like working with people's lives, not only their minds, but the holistic health as you know it. Of course, we cannot get into the area of medicine per se, even though we know what medicine does into human body. We may not be able to do surgery in your body, but we do mental surgery. We go deeper than even the physical knife can go when a real operation is taking place. And so I want to take you to a journey of this animal called mental health or mental wellness or mental well-being, if you like. In fact, when we talk about mental health, people always think of sicknesses. People think of the situation where you get nuts, like you've lost it completely. You're in the street and you're very sick, and maybe you're in a mental health hospital. Those are the situations we think when someone is going through those, then is mentally sick. But in fact, you could meet someone who is really okay, smiling, happy, very aggressive in terms of their work, but they're mentally sick in many ways. So I want to just take you through a few areas that you can focus on for you to get to know whether you're mentally well or not. But also that is not my focus, really. I think my major focus is for you to know the areas to focus on if you want to attain that mental wellness. Okay, so one of those is the area of emotions. I know when you talk of emotions, we say that person is emotionally weak. And that is when, for example, someone gets angry easily, we say that person is weak. And so sometimes we say that person is emotional because they cry. But emotions is not just about crying. Emotions is a lot of things, It's a lot of things in human being. So emotions basically are produced through our thoughts. Like, for example, you're walking into your home, and you see some two men. It's late at night. They are standing each on the side of the gate, and they are dressed in black. The moment you see them, your thought tells them, It tells you, I don't think you're safe. And probably one of the things that you see is you feel like those are thieves. And so immediately after that, what happens to you? You start experiencing fear. Now that fear, that emotional fear, is coming as a result of your thoughts. And so we need really to balance our emotions. We need to take care of our emotions. So emotional well-being is very important. Like, are you really able to take care of your emotions? Can you control your emotions? Just like appetite, can you control your appetite? So if you're not able to control your appetite, it means probably you're already addicted to something. So it's important to get to a place that we can sustain our emotions. But also there is an element we call cognitive functioning. Are you thinking well, or do you have a maladaptive way of thinking? Are you positive in life? Are you optimistic in life? Do you have a positive mindset, or do you have a negative mindset? There are people who think of negative things in every situation, not because they are weak, but probably because they have been through so much in life, and the only way to see life is from a negative perspective. Where you tell someone you love them, and they look at you and wonder, you want to cheat on them again. Where you get late, and maybe you are late buying something, and you couldn't get early enough, or maybe there was queue in the supermarket, and someone just thinks that actually you are not in the supermarket buying something, you're actually cheating on them. Why? Because they have been through such experiences in the past, and so cognitively, their reasoning is negative in nature. There are people who believe that I'm good for nothing, not because they are really, really good for nothing. The fact that they're even able to communicate and tell you they're good for nothing, it means already they have the ability to communicate. And so they are not good for nothing if they are able to communicate, And so, but we have been meant to believe that way by society, maybe by people, maybe by situations in our lives. But I think for me, as I talk to you, my encouragement is it's good to see how well is your mind doing. Are you reading some stuff here and there? Are you reading something that will empower your mind? Are you listening to something that will empower your mind? Are you activating, your all the aspects of your life, your faculties? Are you able to work on your mind, or is your mind asleep? If your mind is asleep, honestly, then you're not doing well mentally. So you need to start working on yourself in that aspect. The other aspect was very important is psychological aspect, or the psychological area, or psychological responsibility, resilience. Like in our mind, how do we interpret reality? What it is that we have been through? Are we been through traumas that continue to affect our lives even today? Let me tell you, I have interacted with people, and I have realized there are so many people who do not have present life. In other words, every time they are thinking about their life, they are thinking about their future, and they're interpreting that future based on what happened in the past. I give an example. I have a friend of mine who one day said they are afraid of dying alone. And so I asked my friend, why are you even thinking of dying alone? You're only 20 and you're thinking of dying alone. What will you, let's say, for example, you die in 80, when you are 80 years or 90 years. So you mean you have 70 years of worrying about death? And I said, okay, so what you need to do is check what happened. What is there between you and death? And I came to realize that this person lost their dad when they were very young. In fact, it was 5 years. He lost their father, and he had to take care of every member of the family, the younger siblings. And so he always feels like death is something that is going to destroy their lives. He always feels like it's something that is scary. And so that's why when they think of death, they think of pain. And so they would rather have someone around them so that when they are dying, at least they will have a sense of consolation. They saw it because their dad, when their dad died, was neglected. No one took care of them. And so that continues to affect them. So they don't have their present. So they can't enjoy now because they're in school, they're almost graduating. They can't enjoy their graduation. They have made steps in life, they have gotten a new job. They can't enjoy that because they are thinking of, what if I die alone? And so that really scares them. So it's important to check your psychological well-being, or what you're calling resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back. Yes, new events are happening in life, but must you always interpret this event as they have been in the past? I had one professor when I was doing my philosophy. He kept on asking us how enough evidence is enough for you to make a conclusion. Like, how many times do you see the sun rising from the east so that you make a conclusion that sun rises from the east? What if you wake up one day and the sun is rising from the west? In fact, if you move around, you'll be surprised that the sun comes from whatever direction in the world. The other thing that we need to focus on is our social network, our social well-being. Are you able to connect with other people, or are you that particular person who isolate themselves? If only the moment actually you feel the need to isolate, I don't mean those moments that you're really exhausted, you need to get some energy, re-energize yourself. No, like you feel disconnecting with people all the time. That is already a problem, because human beings are created socially. If you look at anthropology, sociology, they will tell you human beings are created social. And so the moment you feel the need to stay away from others is already a red flag. You need to start working on yourself at that very moment and see how you can be helped. Learn skills that can help you communicate with people. Some of us are so used to gadgets, phone, and everything else. And when we meet real people, we don't know how to deal with them. Like, you're wondering, what is this person doing here? Maybe you got married and someone is there constantly, every day, day in, day out. And you're wondering, what is this creature doing here every now and then? What should I tell them? Because you have never learned how to communicate with people. Begin to communicate. That is social network, and that kind of connection is really powerful for the mental well-being. The other thing is spiritual being, and also our spiritual reality and moral reality. And spirituality doesn't have to mean really like prayer and everything else, but it can be more than that, like having hope and having purpose in life. The other thing is behavior, our behavior health. Like, really, how do you take care of yourself in terms of the choices you make? Are you making lifestyles, choices that are going to empower you and going to empower your mind? Or are you making choices that are risky in nature, that will risk you, risk your life, risk your health, risk your well-being? It's important to work on those. If you work on all these elements and you try to strike a balance, I don't mean 50-50, but at least you are addressing on each and every one of them, you will have super mental well-being, okay? So that's what we call mental wellness. Mental wellness is not really just one aspect, it's the entire being as you are.